Alright guys, so I'm fully coming to you with another video. This is gonna be a two-part commentary. But anyhow, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying or encouraging men to harm women. I'm not encouraging men to beat on women. I'm not encouraging men to stay in toxic situations. I'm also not putting the blame on anybody. But what I will say is that women, because of their bitterness, because of their vindictive natures, can send people over the edge. And those people who are already not stable and needed help and were crying for help can do bodily harm to themselves as well as you. So let's get into this.
For everybody out there that supported me and really knows what's going on, thank you all. I've been going through a custody battle. I've been going through having my ex-wife say I molested my children.
So because of the ex-wife's bitterness towards him, okay, for whatever reason, the marriage did not work out. I don't know why, the reason why the marriage did not work out, but for whatever reason, the marriage did not work out. So she makes these claims up that the kids were molested and everything like that. Do you know that damages a man when those claims are not true? Like, you really have to think about what you do before you say it, because that could have lasting effects. So on top of paying legal fees, on top of having to go back and forth with his wife, now he would have had to have the stamp of molesting, being a molester. Now, what needs to be said, however, is that there were probably red flags that he didn't read early on with the woman. And he should have read those red flags before having a kid with her. You know, I don't know the backstory. Maybe she started off one way and ended in the next, because that's what a lot of these women do most of the time. They start off one way, you know, to reel you in, and then they end up in a different way. Let's continue on.
All kinds of craziness. Been fighting for custody for 3 years. So,
And so, mind you, he's been fighting for custody. He was fighting for custody for 3 years. So that probably took a mental strain on him as well.
It's been real crazy. What's up, Oliver? You know about this. Going through it with my ex-wife, blah, blah, blah. So, start dating somebody new, and she got pregnant.
Now, I don't know how the pregnancy happened, but he should have not made the pregnancy happen. If she said she was on birth control or whatever the case may be, he should have insured his own self and wore a condom. Because, again, you're dealing with a different animal in these Western women.
And, we got in a fight. First thing she does is threatening that she's going to do the same thing. You're never going to see your kids, blah, blah, blah. It's the holidays, man. I don't have no family, nothing.
So the thing about him is he said he don't got no family. This and this is not to justify his action, but as a general rule, as a man, especially in this Western world, you're kind of all you got. You and your trust in Allah. I'm speaking for myself. Yes, you may have associates, you may have people you're with and things like that, but when it really comes down to it, you are all you have. And the world, unfortunately, does not really care about your feelings, about what you're going through and things like that. On surface level, it might seem like people care, but they really don't. Because we are expected to be the ones to take things on the chin and keep it moving, and taking lumps and keep it moving, taking more lumps, keep it moving. But some of us, I'm not saying all, some of us need that kind of emotional love. You know what I mean? Me, I don't need it. All I care about is if Allah is pleased with me. Because hopefully, inshallah, if he's pleased with me, he'll get me a Wraith. Inshallah, I really want a Rolls Royce Wraith badly. That's what I'm working towards, along with many other things, inshallah. Inshallah, he opens the door for those things to happen. But anyhow, some people need that type of love, that kind of tender love. And I think that's what he was seeking. And I think that's, I think that's unfortunately how, these women got him open. They had him vulnerable. He let himself be vulnerable. And that was the mistake he made, is when he let himself be vulnerable to these women. And because he was vulnerable, it kind of led to his problems that he had to endure.
Anyway, I just did something crazy, man. I just shot my ex-girlfriend in the head, yo.
Now, if I were him, if I were him, right? You have to separate yourself from that situation, meaning get out of town for a few days. Go clear your head for a few days. Don't do anything like this, okay? Don't do anything crazy like this. This was a bad thing for him to do, okay? He should have chilled out. He should have done this, okay? He should have left. He should have not done that.
Like a dream. Like, I never thought I would be that guy. I can't go to prison, so the person that really started my depression and all of this is my ex-wife.
So I'm not justifying his actions, but obviously I think he was suffering from depression and he just looked for a woman to kind of fill that void, and the woman he found was no better, and that's another thing. Let this be a lesson to us guys. Don't let a woman drive you emotionally insane. You must always have control over the situation. You can't let them do this to you and drive you to this point, because this is not a good look. You know what I mean? Don't let them do this. Don't let them drive you crazy like this. Okay? Because when you don't have your emotions anymore under control, and you let a woman control your emotions, then you lose the source of your power. And your power is logic. By having logic, you think clearly, you're focused, and you don't have to worry about doing anything stupid.
So she next, and then I'm going to do myself too, but I just wanted to say this.
So he was on a kamikaze mission, basically. For those of y'all who don't know, the kamikazes were pilots from Japan, where they were like, yo, if he goes, basically they were like, as long as he goes, I will go. You know what I mean? Meaning they crashed their planes into ships, knowing that they were gonna meet their demise.
People, don't play with people's emotions, man. Don't lie on these men. Oh, here's my ex-wife right here. Today's the day.
Yeah, so, he went ahead and did his thing, and, then he did himself, Yeah, man, it's sad. It's sad that happened, It's really sad, but at the same time, like, the women gaslighted it, and they weren't ready for what came with that gaslighting. Can't play with a man like that, like telling them, like, oh, he molested my kids. Can't do that, man. Cannot do that. But yeah, let's go on to the next. Now, this next video, I find it quite odd that, again, and this is like, this is again like what these women's talk shows are about. These women's talk shows are usually the thing is, when women make talk shows and stuff like that, they go around and they gossip. They don't talk about anything productive. They don't talk about anything in which is going to empower women. They talk about things that are basically going to set women back, most of the time. That's what I find with these talk shows. But let's go ahead and see. And I call them gossip girls. I call them gossip girls because all they do is just gossip, and teaching women not to take accountability. But I want to say prayers go out to the kid of that video, because he did leave a kid behind, with the basically the whole incidents that transpired, So, prayers to that kid. But let's go ahead and get into these women. And again, like you have to understand that, like, the modern woman does not look at herself as being flawed or look at herself as doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? But let's go ahead.
Cases of anxiety in young adults are rising as experts warn of the effect.
Pay attention. According to on goodmenproject.com that states if ladies, check this out. There's an article on goodmenproject.com that states if a woman has these 6 traits, do not marry her. What? Pay attention. According to the article, if she's a daddy or mommy's girl, what? A shopaholic,
Daddy's or mommy's girl. Now, it has to be both. Like, it has to be a balance, both the mom and dad input. But if one does lean towards one side too much over the other, I can see, I can understand why, to stay away. Shopaholic, yeah, I mean, gonna hoard your house up and basically, probably doesn't have good spending priorities.
a workaholic, a narcissist, and a
Okay, with the workaholic, that's pretty true, because like they're gonna come home stressed, disappointed, mostly like not willing to do anything, and like you wanna cook, you want like a home cooked meal most of the time. At least I do. They're probably not gonna be up for doing that if they just did a long day's work. Had a long day's work. They're not gonna want to cook, and they're probably not gonna want to smash either. Like, not gonna probably want to like get their backs blown out by you either. So, that's true. And narcissists, I mean, good luck not finding a narcissist, because that's what most of these modern women are. But let's go ahead.
attention seeker or a spiritual vampire, which I was like,
Woke women, quote unquote woke women. Those are the spiritual vampires.
what is a spiritual vampire?
Right.
I looked it up. It's basically someone who is cynical, pessimistic, and negative.
Yeah.
They always go in the opposite direction. Ladies, what do you think about these traits? What do you think about this list of traits? Do you
I don't
agree?
care about that. What I care about is 6 traits for marrying a man.
So you see, deflex doesn't even take accountability, She deflects right away. Doesn't look into herself and say, like, well, maybe I do have these traits. Well, maybe I am this way. You know what I mean? So yeah, that happens.
Are they the same?
Probably worse. A cheater.
Okay, you guys don't cheat? Come on now. And look at the source where it's coming from. It's coming from a morbidly obese woman. It's coming from a woman who is married to White Zaddy, who she met on christianmingle.com. Okay? Because I guarantee you, she was getting ran through, pumped and dumped, and by these lower level men, because I mean, they definitely weren't celebrity men, because they had a celebrity man's gonna have his creme de la creme. A celebrity man's gonna have the best of the bunch. So why would a celebrity man, even entertain her? You know what I mean? I don't care how funny she is.
A cheater. Don't make no money. Homeless.
Now, those are the men. Those are the men you dealt with. Those are the men you decided to deal with. So I don't know why you're talking like that, because it's those are the men that you chose up.
Emotionally unavailable.
Okay, I want to talk about something about that emotionally unavailable. This comes from experience. The moment you show a woman a tender side of you, especially a Western woman, the moment you show a Western woman the tender side of you, or show a side of you that shows some kind of compassion, that shows some kind of warmth, it's the moment that she's going to say, I got him. When the Western woman says emotionally unavailable, what she really means, or when a Western woman says emotionally unavailable, or when a Western woman says emotionally emotionally unintelligent, what she's really saying is that, dang, I can't get this guy. That's what she really means. She doesn't mean show her compassion. She doesn't mean show her warmth. She doesn't mean showing that you care. She doesn't mean that.
Exactly. That's Carry a big baggage. Thing. Let's talk about that.
Guys, what was that song? You ain't nothing but a liar, a cheater, a deceiver.
See, when women come together, you know what I mean? Like, why even read that? Why even read that thing from a man's website if all you're gonna do is bash men and not take accountability for things that you guys do? Like, why even do that? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, it just boggles my mind. But again, as I said before, when women get together, as a majority rule, I didn't say all the time, but when women get together, all they talk about is basically things that are counterproductive, and things that are against men, and plotting against men. That's what they do.
Heartbreaker. Yes.
I think we all have a little bit of those things. Exactly.
So you hear her. Now, you know, I did my research, and she was married twice. Her name, Garcelle Bouvice. And, you know, at one time, she was on this show, the Jamie Foxx show. And her name was Fancy. You know, her name was Fancy on the Jamie Foxx show. She was very beautiful. You know, she was a looker. But, you know, the looks don't last. And 2 marriages later, she's 55 years old and single. Now, the sad thing is about this whole scenario is that she is a Haitian woman. Unfortunately, not all. I'm not saying all, but the Caribbean woman and the continental African woman who bought into this culture, this is what you have to look forward to, you know? Yeah, I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it's like, well, like, I mean, what else is there to say, you know, about this situation?
On the list, what are you supposed to do? I mean, not all of them. I would say for me, workaholic. I would say a shopaholic too, to a certain degree. But I feel like, but that's what I do. That's what I'm doing. If that's
The reason why she's a workaholic is because she's a single mother. You know what I mean? Like, you know how they call it shopping therapy? That's why she does what she does.
A negative thing for a man.
I'm trying to. I can kind of get the mommy's girl, the daddy's girl. Maybe what's worse is a mama's boy.
You see how she deflects? And it's like, why are you even talking about these things when you're married? Like, what? Like, is your husband not doing anything? Are you married to what you don't like? Is that what it is?
That's worse.
I agree.
Because they don't never want to get out the mama house.
No.
And then they allow the mama, I believe, because I was dating one time, and I almost beat up the mama.
Oh.
So here you go. So, again, now I'm not quite sure if this Christian Mingle guy was able to provide anything for her. I'm not sure about that. But I guarantee you, back in her heyday, she was getting pumped and dumped, ran through, and by guys who didn't have a pot to piss in. Right? So now she finds Mr. Rogers and decides that, okay, cool, I can settle down now. But notice that this was her choice of man.
Lonnie, don't be fighting people's moms.
This went south real quick.
Why?
We was only a few ages different.
Oh,
But there you have
you're
it. It's
robbing
starting
the
to make
cradle.
sense.
I want you to pay attention to something. A lot of times, modern women like to fight. Modern women love to fight. They love the physical fighting. And I think the reason why they like physically fighting now is because, they've been run through, and that's no longer satisfying. And also, they're pretty much emotionally unavailable, and they're emotionally angry and disgusted about their situation. So the best thing to do to take it out is fight. They love to fight. They love fighting. I'll say that right now. They love to fight.
Okay, what happened in that relationship?
It didn't last. He was a true mama's boy. Everything that his mama did, it's like his mama had a whole book of things that she wanted, she felt like his future wife should do. Like a whole
really?
handbook. And I was like,
That's controlling.
where's his handbook?
Okay.
I'm just like, I always say, you putting things on women, what about the men?
Yeah.
And that was my thing. But I just knew that wasn't going to last. When I saw that handbook.
Deflecting again. And it's like, we can put things on her because look at her. I mean, just look at her, bro. Look at her. She looked like Lizzo's sister.
I said, bitch, I ain't doing half of the things in this
damn.
handbook. Okay?
The question is, did you raise your son to be self-sufficient to do all these things as well?
Right, as well.
That's what I'm
As
saying.
long as your son is able and capable of
Yeah.
doing these things, then I get that you require.
No, she ain't talking either. Like, really, I she needs to shut up because we already know who wears the pants in that household. We already know.
That because it's something you yourself bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other these traits that we're talking about?
I feel like workaholic was probably the only one.
Okay.
That I can definitely lean towards, like, being a workaholic. Narcissist, don't date a man.
Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
That I can definitely lean towards, like, being a workaholic. Narcissist, don't date a man that's a narcissist. That's like.
So, there you have it. She says narcissist, but she doesn't talk about women narcissists. She talks about the man narcissist. So, again, I hate to say it, but this gender war may not end anytime soon. The only way I think this gender war ends is that, like, basically men are gonna have to have like continental Africans and Caribbeans are gonna have to set their affairs straight in their countries with the women before it spreads too much. Okay, you're gonna have to do that first, and then as a last straw, you may have to just import other women into the United States who have not been exposed to these ways and who understand that you will be doing them a favor, and that another thing that you cannot do, no, you have to teach them too. That's another way that the gender war is going to end. You have to teach the women that you do get, that you do find. You have to teach them, don't go in this direction, because these women will have you single and they will have you out here alone, doing things that you maybe don't necessarily need to be doing and shouldn't be doing. I hate to say this. I really hate to say this. But in Los Angeles, you will find single Muslim women, Muslim mothers actually begging for income, begging for money. You will find that, and you will also find non-single Muslims, non-Muslim single mothers who are also begging for money and begging for income with their kids outside. You don't want to end up like that. You don't want to be in that situation. So we have to spread this message across.
That goes
exactly.
In general, that seemed pretty obvious. Some of these seemed.
At the end
all
of the day,
seemed
it don't
pretty
matter.
obvious.
A woman can have all these things. Men
And
gonna
still
still be with them.
Like hell we will. We'll blow their backs out, but that's about it. I mean, any self-respecting man is not going to deal with this crap.
True.
It don't matter. I don't even know why they up here talking lists and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If we know.
Let me tell you guys.
No, you don't know. Okay, because that's why you ended up with a schmuck. And put it this way, I'm pretty sure she tried to shoot her shot at the creme de la creme, but they were like, the hell, you blimp. Why do I need to, I don't need to be with you. And even on the bottoms here, they were probably blowing her back out, being like, well, she's fat, but, I'm on a dry spell, so let me just blow her out.
We know.
On the shopaholic
Yeah.
side, although Garcelle, you said you can be a shopaholic,
Yeah.
I think that is a concerning thing for a man, because if he's the one being the provider for that shopping,
Sure, I can see
and
that.
now it's his credit cards and his bank account, he's trying to pay the rent, and you went and bought some Givenchy shoes, and now we can't,
Givenchy.
that's a problem. Versus in your case, you're a shopaholic, but you pay out of you are
I'm doing it myself.
correct.
Right,
So I think
You have no choice but to do it yourself. You're 55 and single. So of course you're doing it yourself.
You paying for them shoes whether you know it or not.
That's true.
So there you have it, guys. Again, like I've done like commentary on these women talk shows, and they just shoot themselves in the foot every time. That's why me personally, this is just me personally, I will never, ever, ever might have the desire to even look at girls who have girls' night out, because they're pretty much going to be up to no good most of the time. 9 times out of 10. They're looking for suckers, or they're looking for Chad, Pookie, Ray Ray to do their bidding, to give them what they want. But anyhow, man, Fula signing out. Leave your thoughts, leave your comments, like and subscribe to the page, and I'll be back soon. Njarama.